Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media, and that's, of course, movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. I'm Mo de Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend LADI. LADI, how you doing this evening?
And I'm great. Just finished 1923. Kind of ended just abruptly. I was like, "What? That's it?" But I mean, it seems like there's going to be
There's going to
an
be a second season, so
so yeah.
worry
Then,
not.
I'm watching Vinland Saga and it's getting really good. So there's that. But besides that, of course, playing Resident Evil 4, raging on the first stream because of the difficulty. But I'm doing much better now.
This is a guy that's beat this game multiple times, y'all. So be advised. He's saying that the new version of it is harder than he remembered. So
Yeah.
well, that's cool. I think, gosh, I've been sort of trying to get back into Street Fighter this week. Not actually playing real people because for reasons I don't know. I think it's like 2 months until Street Fighter 6, so I think I'm gonna actually have to, get into boot camp for Street Fighter for the next couple of months, so I don't completely get destroyed when I first get into Street Fighter 6. So, that's good times, and also the TV season is about to come to an end, so got plenty to watch. But anyway, that's not why you guys came here. You came here to listen to us give our unsolicited opinions about superhero stuff. And we got some news this week, man. Some ridiculous news, like some SMH news, you know what I'm saying? But also some kind of cool stuff. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. Zack Snyder continues to play games with the Snyder Bros. We'll see what he was talking about at the Snyder Con.
Master, being a master about it too.
He's a master debater. We have a old face coming back to the MCU, unexpected. Secret Invasion, it gets a release date. We'll talk about that and our anticipation for that series. The Kingpin may be showing up in the MCU as much as Wong is. Probably he won't be opening portals, but he will be doing some stuff. And we'll see where he might land. We're going to talk about the real reason for Victoria Alonso's firing from Marvel Studios. And then we have to talk about it. What's going on with our boy Jonathan Majors? What's happened? Why did he get arrested? And what does this mean for the MCU going forward? So, that's plenty enough to talk about. LADI, you ready? You buckled in and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to it. So, I feel like every week we have to say something about the Snyder Bros. Restore the Snyderverse. Now it's sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix. That whole movement. And rather than catalog all of the silly shit that various people say, I think it's important to realize that they're not just doing their thing. They're not just on the internet acting foolish just out of nothing. That in fact they are responding to things that they think are real, and this guy does not help the case. Right?
They're a ringmaster.
This dude, this is a Zack Snyder is not an idiot. He's got some sense, and in his mind, he has a movie coming out for Netflix called Rebel Moon, which is, if you don't know, it's basically a script that he made for a Star Wars movie that was never going to get made, and so he turned it in. He changed some names and whatever and turned it into an original movie. So he's got that coming up. And also, they had the SnyderCon thing over last weekend, which is essentially, it was a charity thing or whatever. He showed up and he was talking about, and that was, remember, Lottie, you remember that the Snyder Bros were all like, oh shit, he's got a big announcement or whatever. It's going to be related to Snyderverse, because he posted some stuff about Batman and whatever. It was just to show the Zack Snyder's Justice League at this thing. So, all that was going on. He's promoting this thing, and he was just like, he was asked straight up, what did he think about the campaign to sell the Snyderverse to Netflix to develop, an alternate DCEU. And Lottie, let me just before I read this, do you think that he heard that and said, well, that's not realistic. That's just, no company with intellectual property is going to farm it out when they can make more money doing it themselves. Did he say that? Or did he say, well, I don't know. Well, if they say yes, I'll show up. Which do you think he did?
He didn't just say that. The man literally was tweeting out cryptic stuff, going like, "Look at this, the hero's journey, Superman statue rebuilt, but instead of it being not destroyed, it was the destroyed pieces put back together. You son of a bitch." You know exactly what the fuck you are doing. And he's probably going like, who, me? Yes, you. I'm like, sit back. I literally went to a Snyder Bros channel. And like, even he was just like,
were they wetting themselves and rubbing their nipples over this?
no, like he actually was like, you know what, this is getting ridiculous. He even said, "Come on now, this is getting." He's like he was reacting to like this one person who's like really good at explaining this, and he's like, "I'm telling you guys, this is the hero's journey." Why would he use an image of the Superman statue, the destroyed pieces put back together, and do you see it's missing fingers? That means part of Superman is missing, so that's showing you evil Superman confirmed.
I'm just like, I swear, like, well, the Snyder Bros notwithstanding, I'm not gonna dunk on them hard on this one just because it's one is too easy and two, it's not really fair to them because Zack Snyder's on this shit. He like
I blame him.
I swear he is more of a tease than every girl on OnlyFans ever. Like he teases way more. If Zack Snyder had a OnlyFans, first of all, he could fund, another movie because the Snyder Bros would be all about it. But the other thing is, he would never actually give them what the fuck they want. Like at some point, I was likening this to like someone riding a tiger. He's not riding a tiger. He's leading around. He's leading around like. And it's not even a dangerous animal. It's just an animal that's seems like it's dangerous or it seems like it's fearsome, but it's really just a caged bear. And he's leading them around with like little pots of honey, but they'll never get to it. It's shit's ridiculous. But like I said, I can't even really dunk on the Snyder Bros because this motherfucker is intentionally doing this shit. Like it's at some point it feels like he's taking advantage of mentally challenged people, and I'm just like, just stop. Someone intervene and just be like, yo, tell them that it's never fucking happening, because you keep leading them on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of was like saying the same thing. I'm like I'm listening to the thing and breaking it down, and I'm just like, I can't even be upset with them because literally it's like the man is like real talk. If you're like, because here's the thing, I can't even blame the Snyder fans. It's sort of like me. I want a I want Jack 4. That's probably never going to happen. But if like Neil Druckmann was like tweeting out photos of like Jack and like other stuff. I'll be like, is it happening? Is it happening? And then all of a sudden he just does like a Jack and Daxter con. You know what I mean?
and
Like
and and, and
I
that
can't
Jack,
get
yeah, and that Jack and Daxter con, he's like, well, let's talk about The Last of Us 3. No, motherfucker, that's not what we're here for. That's
bro, exactly at Jack and Daxter con. And that's the and like I said, I can't like you said, I can't get I like usually I'll be like, yeah, these dudes are stupid. At this point, like I can't blame them. Like if you're not dead inside about the Snyderverse, you will believe that the shit was coming back because the way the dude was acting.
yeah,
Just ugh.
yep. So for a change, we're not dunking on Snyder fans. We are in fact commiserating with them because this motherfucker right here. That's all I can say. Like, cut it out. Just stop.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're being a fucking asshole.
so I'm sure we'll talk about this again sometime soon. Because this shit just don't end. It just doesn't.
Nope.
Anyway, moving on. LADI, we got an old friend returning to the MC. Well, friends, that's a bit of a stretch. An old person that we remember from a thing back in the early days of the MCU is coming back for Captain America 4. Apparently, we got set photos, and can you believe it? It's Betty Ross, Liv Tyler herself, is returning to be in Captain America 4. Not on my bingo card for the year or for the MCU ever. In fact, I thought that once Edward Norton was gone, we were basically not going to really reference that movie except for, Thunderbolt Ross, right?
Yeah.
And especially with the way that Hulk went and had his little whatever, I don't even know if you call it an affair with Black Widow, and he never talks about Betty or anything like that. I mean, was I wrong to think that we'd never see her again? But here she is. So
Yeah, I thought that was a write off, like a full like, yeah, never gonna see her again. But hey, you know, she's coming back. She's making a comeback. I wonder how this is going to work because we all know the main villain is that lying bitch from season one of
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, which clearly she was a villain now. And all of my friends were like, she's the I forgot her name, like her
You talking
code
about the
name.
Contessa? Are you talking about? Wait, are you talking about the Contessa? That's now she runs the CIA, or are we talking about who are we talking about?
Remember the chick who was trying to bang Captain America and now she's a villain? Uh she was in she remember when they went to the that town that city that was just like all like criminals and she was like, "Hey, I'll
Oh
help
yeah,
you
yeah. Oh
guys."
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Now I guess she's now the power broker. No, you know
Yeah.
what? I don't think that if she shows up, I'd be cool with that. But I'm hearing that they're talking about General Ross is going to be possibly the president of the United States or running for president or something like that. So
Oh
Betty Ross
Lord.
showing up again would make sense. And now, of course, we know that Harrison Ford is playing General Ross, replacing William Hurt, who passed away. So she's showing up, and the scene they have is apparently it's at a funeral or something. It's at probably a military cemetery, and everyone's in all black. So something happened, someone dies, military person, I'm assuming. I mean, I hope it could be her dad, but like would they bring Harrison Ford in just to die like that? I mean, I don't know. So we have no idea what else is going on except that she will be showing up. So, hey, miracles do come true. 15 years later, Betty Ross is acknowledged again in the MCU. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that. I'm sure we'll get more information in the coming months as they film that Captain America 4. Let's continue with the MCU. We finally, after a really dope, trailer for it, we got, we heard Secret Invasion was coming out this year, but they kind of pumped the brakes on a lot of stuff for the MCU, right? Like they're like,
Yeah.
let's slow down. They've moved a lot of dates. Things have kind of shuffled. This time last year, we thought, oh, next year we're getting something like 7 or 8 things, and now it's going to be more like 4 or 5, because they're trying to get their quality and everything together. I understand. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck. So to that end, Secret Invasion finally has a release date, and it is June 21st of this year. And which, I mean, it feels like it's forever away from now, but it really is something like 2.5 months from now. So in 2.5 months, we'll see this 6-episode, prestige series that I hope is going to really move the story of Phase 5 forward, or at the very least, what I'm more interested in is that Phase 5 is supposed to be the multiverse saga, right? But I would really like for them to start delineating the different aspects of the MCU, like street level, espionage, cosmic, all this, and then like have them tell their own little stories, their own little, that corner telling its own little story connected with other things like that. So, LADI, we got the release date. I know you want to see this. Is this too far away for you? Do you feel like that they've had enough time to get it together? And also, do you think they are going to be, delineating the different parts of the MCU and kind of telling their own little story?
Oh, my bad. Oh, I was looking at it. It said spring 2023. So, they
It
moved the
did say
time.
that, yeah, that they moved it.
So,
Yes.
okay, I'm looking down at it. So it moved it to July 26th.
Was it July? I thought it was June. Hold on. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
Secret Invasion hits Disney Plus. The series will now run on July
Oh,
26th.
see, it says on the direct, it says June 21st of this year.
June 21st.
Yeah. This
See,
comes from the Disney Plus website, apparently.
yeah, I'm looking at it. June, because at the bottom it says from July 30th to July 29th. My monitor got dark all of a sudden for some reason. For massive movies will come to theaters in the form of Indiana Jones at June 30th, Mission Impossible July
Yeah.
14th, Barbie, all that stuff. Then it says while these will come after the first 2 Secret Invasion episodes hit Disney Plus, the series will now end this run on July 26th. Oh, okay,
There you
that's when
go.
it ends.
There you go.
Okay. So June. Okay, I see it. June. It's not too bad. That's right around the corner. That's like
It
30.
really is, like, when you think of
Yeah, that's
it,
like,
because it's about to
yeah,
be April. Yeah, like
yeah.
literally 2.5 months from now.
That's right around the corner. We
Yeah.
get to see Sam Jackson. You just can't use the motherfuckers.
His mother Flurkin. he can use he can call he could just say Flurkin. But yeah, no, dude, I'm telling you, like, I think about this and I'm like, I really do want them to, because there's so much going on in the MCU right now. I want this to just be like a corner of the MCU, like just an espionage, undercover agents, all fighting in the background, dirty war sort of like deal. And who better to prosecute such a thing as, Nick Fury? And also, I hope it sort of ropes in the Contessa too, because that woman right there, she's on some stuff. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we got a date, and of course we're going to talk about it and cover it when it comes out. So, let's another MCU thing. Now, this one actually is kind of a thing that I just saw today, but I think this could be huge. LADI, you've been telling me about how you want a more street level, side to the MCU, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something that you feel like it's been missed. Everything's too much, where everything's, the world's about to end. Everything's like, globe trotting and like, cosmic shit and all that other stuff. Whatever happened to just protecting everyday Joes like you and me? And just guys that are just going to work, and then supervillains show up. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is an indication that they are maybe going to be, I think the indication was that when they said Daredevil was coming to the MCU, to me, that was like the first sign, like, oh, y'all really are gonna like try to do the street level thing. And then we saw at the end of Spider-Man, No Way Home, how he's no longer an Avenger and he's just out there. You're a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man swinging around New York and solving problems, right? So we got that going on. And, between that and Daredevil, and then we hear the Punishers coming to, like, there's all these indications that that's happening. So there was an interview they were talking to Vincent D'Onofrio, and, he is the Kingpin. And we saw him in Hawkeye, and, he was cool there. But this, is sort of, and we've seen some, I don't know if you saw these set pictures where we see more of what he looks like now. But it's clear that they're showing that he's going to be making major power moves in New York City. And the indications, at least from this interview, is that he may be not just a villain for Daredevil, but that he may also be a villain for Spider-Man. For the Spider-Man 4, which is being worked on right now, and that he's running for mayor in Daredevil, and that he's trying to, the potential is that, according to this article, is that he would be trying to outsource people to sort of deal with the street level heroes that are sort of causing him problems. So his reach could be far beyond just Daredevil. So, LADI, you hear all that, and you know who the Kingpin is, you know what he's about. Is he basically the next Thanos for the street level, type heroes?
As he should be. I mean, the Kingpin has always been that super, like he's always been that villain that's always been interfering with he's almost like the Joker to DC, not as insane, but like his reach is far enough that even the Avengers or other like superhero groups go like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? And like the Joker, his main villain, I mean his main adversary. I understand he deals with I mean not the Punisher, Daredevil, but it's Spider-Man, man. I mean, we we all know about how the Kingpin be whooping Spider-Man's ass, man. Even though he looks like he's a fat dude, man, the Kingpin can move, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Kingpin is almost a metahuman when it comes to the way he's not he is because isn't that what that's in between a mutant and all that
Well,
stuff?
I
He's
mean,
like
I think it's clear that he's not peak level human strength, but like I would say that Captain America would beat his ass, but like he would feel if Wilson Fisk is punching Captain America, Cap feels it. Like Cap's not just like whatever. He's getting hit and thrown around when Wilson Fisk connects, and it's pretty clear that's true from the Hawkeye show also.
yeah.
But I mean, there's this contention that like he was snapped away, and so that's part of the reason why he's so desperate to get back in the, to get back in the game, get back what's his, because he was gone for years. I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be an interesting wrinkle. That he comes back and like he's diminished in power and now he's got to claw his way back through it, and he's got to deal with Daredevil's ass. That clearly they have some unresolved issues, and he's got Spider-Man nipping at his heels. Like there's all sorts of, but that's the great thing about Wilson Fisk as a villain is he thrives in that. Like he's not intimidated by anything like that. And he loves a good challenge, and also he thinks the city is his, and he's ready to make stuff happen. So I mean, I would absolutely love if he were the Thanos of the street level heroes, and they had to literally all team up and like, fuck the Defenders. No, the Netflix Defenders. That's cool and all, but it ain't shit if Spider-Man and Punisher ain't rolling up. If Spider-Man and Punisher didn't pull up, I don't, whatever. So I'm hoping that this is all true, but it just makes me more excited to see Daredevil next year. They clearly have some big plans going forward there. So anyway, I'm sure we'll get more, behind the scenes photos and info. So we'll talk about it when we get that info. So now that's the small stuff. We've talked about the small things. Now it's time to talk about the big stuff. So, last week we talked about the firing of Victoria Alonso, which, I will reiterate, she's there at the company for 17 years. She was there before before Iron Man. She started working there a year or two before Iron Man came out. So she's been there from the beginning of the MCU journey. She's been an executive producer on every movie since Avengers. She's been a producer on every one of the movies. She was the president of physical production and post production. And so she was in charge of not just the production of movies, but also the post production, the VFX, all that good stuff, right? Hugely powerful at the company. We heard all of that stuff about, she was a taskmaster, and she may be the reason for, the bad relationship with VFX artists, and people accused her of playing favorites and blacklisting people and all that stuff. And I've come to understand in the last week that not just that she was very important, but she had a shit ton to do. If you think of, LADI, think about this. She's in charge of production, so she is the person who ensures that every movie gets filmed, completely filmed, all the way through, all that stuff. She's at the top of the pyramid that makes that process happen. But she's also at the top of the pyramid where after physical production is done, now she has to be in charge of the whole process of getting all the post done and all the VFX done. That's a fuck ton of work. In Hollywood, usually one person only does one of those things, right? One person is in charge of physical production, one person is in charge of post production, right? Or even one person just involved with just doing the visual effects, depending on what kind of movies y'all are making. She did all three of those things. She had a ton of responsibility and a lot of power because of that responsibility. And like them or not, she got shit done. Like it or not, she got shit done. The movies came out when they were supposed to, generally speaking, right? Were the VFX the best? Probably not, because and you got to think about it. Since Disney Plus came out, Marvel's been putting out something to the tune of 10-ish things a year. So for 2 straight years, something like 18 things came out. That's ridiculous to be in charge of getting them made and then getting them the post production done on that and the VFX done. And that was her whole ball. That was everything she was supposed to do. So I'm not trying to say that she was a great person or whatever. I'm just saying, like, she worked hard and she had a lot of shit under her. And yes, you can blame her for a lot of things. Yes, you can also say, yeah, she had some successes or whatever. But the fucked up thing about all of this, LADI, is that ain't even the reason why she got fired. There's none of that stuff we're talking about. Win, lose, whatever the thing with VFX artists and the VFX houses, none of that it has anything to do with why she got fired. Do you know why, LADI? Do you know why she got fired?
They said she breached her contract, saying basically she was doing some other movie instead of doing what she was supposed to do when they told her not to do that, which I find absolute bullshit. I think that is an absolute lie. They're just using that as a legal reason to fire her.
Well, I will say this: I am pretty certain that she was, in fact, still performing her job for the MCU. I I challenge anyone to point to any one thing that came out in the last year that didn't look like it was done. You can even be like, oh well, what about the shitty VFX in Thor, right? You can say something like that. The shitty VFX in Thor are better than most VFX and most everything else. Let's be honest. Let's stop pretending like that's not true. The VFX in Thor were substantial. There's a lot. And that one scene that everyone's like, this looks like shit, which by the way they went back and fixed, but it was some little astral projection thing. That's the worst thing that they got, right? One shot out of hundreds of VFX shots in that movie, many of which look great actually, and all the VFX shots in the rest of the MCU movies over the last 2 years. So she clearly was doing her job. Now, how she went about doing it, I can't say, except that probably it wasn't great how she did it, but it got done. So this, she clearly was taking care of business. The problem they had was, and I think you're on the right track, that this was, technically it's like you ran a red light. Well, technically, yes, you did break the law, but then that's a reason to arrest you and take you in and then search your car, and then, maybe you got some weed or whatever. Now they got you on other things, even though it was just a traffic stop, right? That's the sort of shit that I think you may be onto something. That there may have been a need to clean house, and also to not have to pay out whatever her contract is, and therefore a breach of contract. That's a good way of, avoiding having to pay somebody out of their contract.
Yeah.
The movie in question, by the way, not something I've seen. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. Called Argentina, I think in 1985 or 86 or something like that. And she was a producer on it. You know what her breach of contract was? It did, like, for real. This is what they're saying the breach of contract was. Not that she worked on it, because she had permission to work on it. Not that as a producer. She had permission to work on it. That was as one of her little projects. What they're saying she did was that she breached the no compete clause in her contract, meaning that even though she had special dispensation to go work on this movie that another company was working on, she had the dispensation for that. What she did not have the dispensation to do was to promote it. And by promoting means at any time talking it up for anything. And she happened to be being interviewed about something, and someone asked her about it, and she talked about this movie that she worked on, right? And that's where they said she breached contract. Now, I'd say technically, yeah, sure. She talked about it in a publication or something, a podcast or whatever the hell. And that, I guess you could count it as, that she's speaking it up. She's doing any kind of like publicity for it. But man, that's some bullshit. Just like on its face, it seems like some bullshit. Someone asked you a question about a movie you worked on. Oh, you breached contract. Let's fire you completely after 17 years. Now, and I don't know all the details. Maybe she kept on doing it. I don't know. But it seems to me like that she's retained a lawyer now. She's going to be suing over, wrongful termination to try to, not to reverse it, because she's not going to go back and work there, but to get compensated for it. So, there's a lot of stuff. Like I said, I think you're onto something, but are they looking for a scapegoat right now?
Oh yeah, very much looking for a scapegoat. That is literally she's a fall guy, or they'll call it a fall gal. She,
How about fall
you know
person?
that Ant-Man and the Wasp did bad, like very bad. And there are investors, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I know probably the exact investor who said somebody's head got to roll because he's pretty much buying up all. He's gonna be eventually going to be the head of Disney very soon. Like he's about to buy up everything soon, and I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure he was the one that's like someone's head got to roll, and they're all like, oh, well, you. And now, Bob Iger and everybody's like hoping that they probably gave her some money underneath the table, probably not enough to keep her quiet, and she's coming after them like a raging bulldog. And hey, I don't, no matter what, this is not a good look for Marvel. This is not a good look for Disney. This is a bad look, absolute bad look,
Yeah.
and gotta fix it. I don't even know how you fix this because
I mean, you
it's just
don't.
this.
I mean, you don't because it's out there now. I mean, she was fired. She didn't resign, or I guess she did resign, but I mean, everyone says she was fired. This is some internal drama that we don't usually see at Marvel, which makes it even bigger deal. And she's not going quietly either. See,
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing if she had just resigned and been like, it's just time for me to move on, which is bullshit because she has such big shoes to fill that resigning, and giving 2 weeks notice isn't good enough. She'd literally have to spend the better part of the rest of the year to pass her duties on to somebody else. Like this isn't like, you or me leaving our job. No, she literally has to like move all of her responsibilities, probably give it to 2 or 3 other people, explain what all's going on, what's in the pipeline, what her procedures are, who are like there's a ton of things that she'd have to do just to extricate herself, you know, and instead they just cut her off completely. Like you don't resign and leave on a Friday. That's no one does that. Like so, clearly this was a head that has to roll situation, and she's not going quietly about it. And so, and especially at a time when Bob Iger is trying to get Disney back on track, this is not the way they want it to go. But I think they felt like they had the right. They were in the right. They had the technical. Probably the lawyers like it's all good. You can totally do this, and I guess they felt the fallout was better than having her stick around. So I gotta wonder what the fuck was so bad that she was doing that they would rather go through us randos talking about it, and Variety and Hollywood Reporter and so forth spending real estate on their websites, even talking about it. It must how bad did she fuck up? I'm just curious. So this is a weird situation, man. I'm so used to DC fucking around and doing dumb shit, and just like people in and out. And I'm used to Lucasfilm announcing crap and then having differences with directors and them leaving. But the MCU is not one of those places. Like the Marvel is where they pretty much when they say something's happening, it's happening. When somebody's in there, they're in there for life. And then this. So I don't know. I'm baffled.
And uh, I'm gonna just say this is not the end, and I mean I think someone else's head is gonna roll.
I mean, everybody except Kevin is on the plate.
Yeah, like someone else's. Like I don't want it to be true, but it's
It's gonna.
someone else's. Yeah,
Well, probably one the way because of who she was and what her responsibilities were, she probably was an easier sell as far as like, hey, if we get rid of her, maybe that'll smooth some things over. Maybe we'll have a chance to kind of reestablish our relationships with certain people. But like I could even see some of the lower level producers whose names we're starting to know, by the way, because they are producers for, 2 or 3 different movies, right? One name that comes to mind, and I have no reason to expect him to be one of the people that loses their job, but I hear his name all the time. It's Brad Winderbaum, and he was the producer on both Black Panther movies and like several of the TV shows. So that guy, he's all over. They have like several, 3, 4, 5 producers who are, they're shepherding a bunch of these projects. And, I think they are as likely candidates for, a reset as anybody. And the only person I think who's never going to be fired is Kevin Feige. He's literally the only one that's not going to be. There's an axe swinging, but it ain't going to be aimed at his neck. Because I don't see it. There's no reason for it. So, anyway, I guess we'll keep an eye on this. I'm sure we're going to be hearing about this lawsuit going forward, and we'll find out more. And when we do, we'll let you guys know. So that leaves us the last, and let's just say the least pleasant bit of news. LADI, I swear, I texted you when I got this. I texted you I got this news, and I also tweeted about it. I didn't even tweet anything except, God damn it, man. Because, I mean, is there another black man having more of a moment in Hollywood right now than motherfucking Jonathan Majors? Is it like for real? The guy he's having a moment. And then he gets arrested for domestic abuse and assault charges and shit on a Friday. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I really was just like, God damn it, man. It's like all you had to do. I mean, I have more to say, LADI. Why can't we have good things? And I'm not trying to say that he's guilty, not guilty, whatever. But man, I'm starting to be like, I shouldn't place any kind of like attachment to any celebrities because they're just regular fucking people, and like all it takes is for them to have a bad day and we get shit like this. Like help me out.
You know what this reminds me of? Literally. You know Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
It literally reminds me of Deshaun Watson. Like, Deshaun Watson was like a freaking rock star. Like, everybody in the NFL is like, Deshaun Watson's gonna be the next great quarterback and everything like that. He was having trouble with the Texans, and everybody's like, yeah, man, the Texans are messed up for the way they're treating him. He needs to get out of there. 26 sexual allegations. What? I'm like, I don't believe it. Don't believe it. Then I started hearing the stories. I'm like, that sounds way too descriptive to be made up.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, this sounds way too. Then I'm just like, literally when I heard that happen, I was just like, this is exactly like Deshaun Watson.
Well, I was gonna be more. It was more like, who was old boy that like got into a fight with his girlfriend in the elevator? I forgot his name.
Ray Rice was like,
and he talked, yeah.
That was the end of his career. Like, I think from everything that we hear, that I'm not saying or whatever happened, or that he's not what he is, but from everything that I'm like hearing, it sounds like he's going to be basically exonerated from this one. But when I'm gonna say it's like Deshaun Watson, that no matter what, people are just going to hate him. And that is not good for the MCU. It's just not. Like, honestly, like, just be honest with me. let's say all of this comes out that it was not true. Do you honestly think Marvel will keep him as Kang?
No,
Just be let's exactly.
nope, nope. Uh, because it's safer to just be like, you know what, we're just gonna cut our losses, and like we literally can recast you. Like it would be no problem whatsoever to but the fucked up thing is that they literally have built all of this apparatus around him, so they're going to have to, I mean,
They'll have to. That's gonna cost money
well, no, I
because
don't think it'll cost money because this is a breach of contract. This will be a breach of contract. They can get out of the contract, no fault. Nobody
no,
pays
I
anything.
meant like Loki.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
they're going to have to redo Loki.
no, they're not going to redo Loki. What they're going to do, because I don't think Kang is going to be like in every fucking thing. All they really have to do is be like, oh, well, they just have to flash it. Just like the Flash. They're like, well, he's in it. He's definitely in it. So, what can we do? He's not going to promote or anything. He's not Kang going forward. We got a new Kang coming out. That we're just going to say it's a variant and move on with our lives. Or we're just going to act like anytime anyone's recast and just not even acknowledge it. You bring up a good point. It doesn't matter if he's exonerated because there's going to be a kind of a thing going on. You know, we have more information about recanting of the thing, but the New York Attorney General, they're going to keep on pursuing it because they can, and they have, I suppose they have evidence or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They have some kind of reason to keep pursuing this, and it's going to be with him for a while. Like this is a case. This shit's gonna be with him for a while, and while it's with him, he is not a bankable anything. Right? So it's clear to me they can keep on. The MCU can keep doing what it's doing. They just ain't gonna be doing it with Jonathan Majors. And look, if he did what he's accused of, that's terrible, and I hate that's something that he did and everything like that. Is this is this a pattern? Like people are trying to suggest that there's more to this than just like an incident where someone like he just kind of flipped out or whatever.
Oh, I don't believe half of that. I don't really believe.
I mean, but it doesn't matter if we believe it or not. It's just now people are feeling free to circulate this shit. Right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna accuse people like you and me of trying to like, shield him or whatever. Like I don't know this dude at all. I like his work. He seems like when I hear him talk, he seems like a smart guy. He's got some shit going. You know what I'm saying? He's got a career ahead of him. But he's a guy. I don't even want to say a guy. He's a person. And people don't make great decisions sometimes. Sometimes they do stupid ass things. Sometimes if someone hits you, no matter who it is, your first instinct is to hit them back. Right?
Yeah.
Does that mean that Jonathan, again, I don't know the guy. Does that mean he's a serial abuser? I don't know. He could very well have just been reacting. Or he could have been the aggressor. I don't fucking know. All I do know is that in this world, in this time, in this climate, in the way Hollywood is feeling right now. Oh, and also let's add on to the fact, and let's not even beat around the fucking bush about this. I know people hate talking about race, but the truth is, race matters.
He's black.
He's a big buff black dude.
And he was already getting a lot of hate for that. Like he already was not like there was a lot of like, how do I can say, Hollywood was pushing him, but I feel like there was a lot of people in the public that did not like Jonathan Majors for some reason.
Yeah, what? Like I said, he's a big buff black dude with all of the features that make racists just cringe in their panties. He got the big wide nose, and he even when he's smiling, he looks aggressive and everything like that. Shit like that. Let's not pretend like that's not a real thing that people are thinking about, right? So the man's behind the eight ball any damn way. Whatever goodwill he had from the two movies that just came out is fucking evaporating right now as people like abandon ship because like why be associated with this? It's he said, she said. Even if he did it, if he did it, yeah, I mean his head's gonna roll. Even if he didn't, his head's gonna fucking roll. And now, with all of that said, I want justice to be served and all that stuff too. But also, we're here to talk about fucking comic books. So this also means that the MCU has a Flash problem. Except, I'll note something that Ezra Miller done some shit. And they're still just like, well, we're just gonna move along. We're just, we hope they get the help they need. I swear to God, if Ezra Miller was Ezra Jenkins would have been fucking under the jail by now, and no Flash movie would have come out. If Ezra Miller had been Jonathan Majors, no way in hell that movie comes out. Like I said, let's not pretend like race ain't a real thing here. Because a black man couldn't get away with the shit that Ezra Miller got away with.
Yeah. Because I ain't going to lie, that's sort of something that I thought about. I was like, man, kind of messed up that if this was the other way around, if this was Ezra Miller, if he was Ezra Miller, they'll just be like, well, he just needs help, but
Yeah.
Jonathan Major, people are like, oh yeah, I know things that you don't know. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Where's all the dirty little secrets about Ezra Miller that all these directors supposedly don't want to talk about? But for some reason, they had all these directors got smoke for freaking Jonathan Major. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's annoying.
And I don't even know who these people. I've just read some stuff on social media, but that just underscores my point that it doesn't matter if case dismissed or found not guilty, or like found not guilty is literally the only way that he can just be like, get out from under this shit.
Yeah.
But even if he is found not guilty, I guarantee you for the next 20 years, there's going to be somebody like, nah, he's really an abuser. Nah, he's really this. Because motherfuckers are doing that for, I'm trying to not, Johnny, they're still doing that for Johnny Depp. And I take no position on that. I'm just pointing out that that's what's fucking going on, right? They're still doing that about, all sorts of, people who have, been exonerated or not necessarily been shown to have, like, one recent example is Alec Baldwin, because of the death of that, where he shot on accident, the director of photography on accident, and people are calling him a murderer and shit like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this shit's gonna follow this man.
Yeah, and it's even with people who did do it, but changed their lives, gotten forgiveness, done good things for the community. Like some people, like even with Michael Vick, it's as long as goes as been, as long as it goes, and he's changed his life. He's done good things. Everyone still calls him a piece of shit, and I'm like, the man does so much good, but you guys are still gonna hold on to something that happened almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how people are. People just it doesn't matter. You could, let's just be honest. If people want, if you don't want to be religious or whatever, but people, they murdered Jesus Christ. So like people, like you said, no matter what's going to happen, he's going to have to live with this for the rest of his life, and it sucks. It sucks, but who knows? We'll see. If he actually did it, like if it's like a Deshaun Watson where he actually did it but it wasn't illegal, okay, whatever. Or if he like literally did nothing wrong and the woman just punched herself in the face. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll just see how it goes. I mean,
Well, to more to the point, I get, and I think we should look at it as like, well, let's say he really did do this, right? Let's say he really did it. Let's say she, and again, I hear, I'm reading this thing and they're like, well, he had called the police because of whatever was going on with his girlfriend. So he had reached out to the police first before all of this happened. So that clearly there was something going on between the two of them, whatever. Let's say he did assault her. Well, obviously, he's got to face up for that, right? He obviously has to face up for that. And it still leaves us in the same place that the MCU is stuck with a leading man who can't be in the movies anymore, right? So now they've got to figure out something else to do. And as a fan of the MCU, I understand. Like, if they have to go replace him, just go replace him. Like, as much as I like the guy, as much as I like him as an actor, he's an actor. Any fucking person can do that. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not. As much as I like him as Kang, anybody else could. Like, I'm guarantee you could, in LA, throw out a handful of marbles and you'll hit 5 actors that can fucking do it. So they're not in dire straits. That's what I'm trying to say. So, fucking God damn it, I hate shit like this. Like, for real. What happened? I miss the days where celebrities got up to all sorts of bullshit and you never heard about it ever. You never fucking heard about it. They just
and here's another thing. I'm gonna just say this, and it's just gonna get on my soapbox just a little bit. And this is not dealing with Jonathan Major, but just in general, guys. These celebrities are not your idols. They're regular human beings that are just good at portraying other people. Stop looking up to these people as your heroes. Look up to your dad, your mom, your older brother, older sister, family members, or anything.
Unless they
looking.
suck.
Exactly. Unless they suck. Stop looking at these people like they're gods.
Yeah.
They're not. They're rich people who are just good at portraying at other people. Please stop doing this. What we gotta look. What does Chris Evans have to say? He's Captain America. He has to talk about what's going on in America. No, he does not. Yeah. Jeez.
And there's the other thing, because I see plenty of celebrities, actors, singers, whatever, have stupid ass opinions about things, which are equally as stupid as some of my coworkers' opinions about things.
Exactly. They're just regular people.
I'm like, being rich and a celebrity, doesn't make you smarter. I think that's a problem in our world, in our country, is that we equate, riches with success, and we equate success with intelligence, and like none of that shit correlates. Trust. You can be rich and dumb as fuck. You can be rich and have the worst moral character. You can do. Being rich just means your ability to, not be worried about your day-to-day living. Doesn't have anything to do with your ability to make good decisions. And anybody can have bad reactions to things that are done to them, things that are said to them. Some people get jumped on. Celebrities have jumped on other people for saying the wrong thing to them on the wrong day, right? Mm-hmm. Celebrities have slapped the shit out of or punched people or whatever for saying the wrong things or taking a picture of them or whatever. So, this whole situation could be a pattern of abuse, or it could be somebody just being just the wrong time, the wrong thing happened. And we don't know. and all we're stuck with is trying to figure out how to move forward. Which the MCU does not need this shit right now. Let me say, they don't need
Yeah.
this shit
It's
right now.
not. It's just man. It's like one week one thing happens, then the next week this other happens. Wonder what's gonna happen this Friday because they're all happening on Friday. They all, you know what they always say, it comes in threes. So
Yeah, it's well, at least we're not talking about how badly Ant-Man and the Wasp are doing anymore. So
yeah. Oh, that's already, that ship is already sailed.
yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, um, I guess we'll keep an eye on this. We'll let you guys know what we think about the whatever happens in the future. So I think that's all our news for the week. Maybe we missed some things. We were just too wrapped up in the Jonathan Major thing. We missed some things, or you had an opinion about what we were talking about, or just wanted to shout out and say something good. Whatever that is, get down to the comments section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit like on this video, hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the algorithm so that more people see this channel and see these videos. And as usual, I can't go on and rant on my own. I need my good friend LADI there to provide his opinion. So LADI, where can they reach you on social media?
Oh yeah, you can always find me on my YouTube channel, which is you can always find me on my Instagram, which is Anukinihun. It's ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And of course, you can always find me on my YouTube channel, which is Kinihun25. Playing Resident Evil 4 right now, so you can watch me play that. Probably gonna start playing again tomorrow. I'm also working on something for my Instagram and YouTube channel as well, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you guys go and show LADI some love. Check out those live streams. Watch him die horribly over and over again because
Yeah.
apparently Resident Evil remake is really hard.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks again, you guys, for joining us. This has been the 95th episode of the Supercast. Good times so far, man. I can't believe we're almost to 100 episodes. That's crazy. But anyway, you guys come back next week. We're going to be talking about plenty more comic book news as we get ready for the upcoming movies and TV shows that are coming out. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupée, resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend LADI. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.